All right. Well, I guess before we get started, we'll do some quick introductions of the staff that are in this room. I'll start off. My name is Jason Yee. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions at WSU Tri-Cities. And I'll let one of my other colleagues introduce themselves.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Zuniga, and I'm an admissions counselor.
My name is Maya Gillespie. I am the Assistant Director of Student Services and Outreach for the Pullman campus's Student Financial Services Office.
Hi, I am Andrea Aldis, and I'm a Financial Aid and Student Support Services Coordinator at WSU Tri-Cities.
Good morning. My name is Kayla Spence. I'm the Document Intake Supervisor at Student Financial Services in Pullman.
My name is Lindsay Jilg, and I am a Student Financial Services Advisor specializing in outside scholarships on the Pullman campus.
Did we get everybody? Oh.
Hi, I'm Tatiana. I'm an admissions counselor for WSU Tri-Cities, and I mostly work with students in the Kennewick School District as well as other areas in the Tri-Cities.
Okay.
And I'm Gretchen Hormel at WSU Tri-Cities, and I am Financial Aid and Student Support Services.
All right. Yeah, I think we've got everybody. Did Cassandra, Elizabeth, did you just want to introduce yourself as well too? Sorry.
Sure. My name is Cassandra Miller, and I'm the career specialist here at Kennewick High School. So Kennewick High School students, you would be contacting me if you need any help with any of this stuff.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Garza. I'm the career specialist at Southridge High School.
And I'm Debbie Smith, career specialist at Kamiakin.
Fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. And obviously, especially a warm welcome to all the participants on there as well too. So, well, we will get started on there. And so I wanted to turn the screen over to Gretchen, who's going to just kind of give us a brief overview about the FAFSA WASFA process and just kind of the basic overview on there. And then we'll have a brief presentation, and then we'll go from there. So Gretchen, the floor is yours, and I will get started on I'll get that PowerPoint slide presentation going for you.
Okay, super. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so glad to see you today. And for your information, the slideshow that we're sharing was actually created by the Washington Student Achievement Council. And so I just want to give them credit for all of the fantastic information that will be shared. And there we go. So you're on your way. I'm wondering if graduation is feeling real for you yet. I'm guessing that maybe it's not only exciting, but you're possibly feeling a little overwhelmed because there are a whole bunch of deadlines and forms to be filling out. And a financial aid application, whether it be the FAFSA or the WAFSA, is just one of those items, right? And what I want you to realize is that you should fill out, whether it's the FAFSA or the WAFSA. You will be amazed with how helpful it will be if you just get it done. So that is step one. You need to make sure that you apply for whether it's the FAFSA or the WAFSA. Just take care of it. Next slide, please, Jason. And so being in control of money matters by understanding what a general school budget looks like is what this slide is about. And so this slide provides a general overview of what a college budget can look like for whether you're planning on going to a 2-year community college or technical college, whether you're planning on attending a 4-year public university, such as WSU or Eastern Washington University or Washington University, or whether you're considering going to a 4-year private university, be it possibly Whitworth in Spokane or some other place. So the 3 general budgets for the 3 different types of schools, and there are 2 different kinds of costs to consider. And I want to let you know too, that this budget here that you see is the general budget that financial aid offices use throughout the country, because this budget is established by the FAFSA, the Federal Application for Federal Student Aid. And so the direct costs are the tuition and fees for a college. And so the tuition and fees is charged to students to cover the cost of all of the classes that you're enrolled in, as well as all of the services that are provided at each of the colleges. So those are the direct costs that you see on that first line. Indirect costs are costs that you might possibly, as a college student, have more control over, or the costs are variable just depending on the needs, such as books and supplies. Maybe not all classes require books. Maybe it's more online resources that don't cost any money. And so there's possible flexibility in the cost of books and supplies. Also, your personal expenses, your haircuts, taking care of your laundry, taking care of possible medical costs, those general personal expenses, the cost of transportation to get to school and get around to all of the various labs or whatever it might be when it comes to college expenses. And then room and board. If you are considering staying in a dorm or on-campus housing, the term room and board means possibly rent and food. So that's what room and board means. And then the bottom line in each one of those 3 columns says total COA. Well, COA is a very important financial aid acronym, which means cost of attendance. There is also another acronym that is mentioned a lot, and that is EFC, Expected Family Contribution. For your information, the United States Department of Education oversees the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. The Department of Education has specific formulas that they use to determine each individual's college's cost of attendance, the COA, and each family's expected family contribution, the EFC. The Department of Education then subtracts the EFC, the expected family contribution, from the COA to determine the different kinds of financial aid that a student gets. Jason, I'm ready for the next slide. And so when looking at financial aid, there are 4 main types: grants, scholarships, loans, work study. And if you see at the second line with scholarships, it says merit and income-based. Well, income-based means the process of subtracting the expected family contribution, the EFC, from the college's cost of attendance. So that's what income-based means. Merit-based means all of those fantastic accomplishments that you have made throughout high school, they count. And so all of your achievements, that is merit. And so that's why there's 2 different kinds of scholarships identified there. And then in those 4 categories, you see that there's federal aid available. In Washington State, there's state aid available. There's usually institutional or college aid available, as well as some private options, probably. Ready for the next slide, Jason? The rule of 1 here, you only need to complete 1 financial aid application, the FAFSA or the WASFA here in Washington State. You fill out the FAFSA if you are eligible if you're a US citizen or a permanent resident. And once you fill out the FAFSA, then state aid eligibility will come into play. For those who are not sure which application is the one to complete, go straight to Ready, Set, Grad, that website address that you see in the WAFSA square, because WASFA starts with a set of questions. And if the FAFSA is the application that is appropriate for you, then that survey, that question, that list of questions will take you to the FAFSA website. So you can't go wrong by going to the readysetgrad.org website. Ready for the next slide, Jason? So the Washington State aid is listed on this slide. And for your information, the Washington Student Achievement Council oversees the majority of the state's student financial aid programs, which are collectively known as Washington Opportunity Pathways. And so that's why you see that logo there. And also for your information, the last program that's listed, the Opportunity Grant, is administered by the State Board of Community and Technical Colleges here in Washington State. It's considered state aid, and so you might benefit from that program if you are planning on attending a Washington State community or technical college. Next slide, please, Jason. Oh, and there's the Washington, the Washboard Oregon, that's a scholarship application that is really helpful for you too. So this is the 4 different times. I think that there was a slide that was missed. It might be the next slide, and so we'll see. Here's the 4 different types of financial aid that's provided when you complete the FAFSA. And then please remember that once you complete that FAFSA, you will receive in the email from the Department of Education a student aid report. That student aid report simply covers the types of financial aid that's covered here. And once the college who you are admitted into receives your FAFSA application, then state aid is then considered to be included with that, as well as any institutional aid or college aid specific to that college. So that's what happens after you your information is provided to the college that you're admitted into to attend school year 2021-2022. Ready for the next slide, Jason? And here we go. So the first step to start that FAFSA application is this Federal Student Aid ID. That's what FSA stands for. FSA is Federal Student Aid ID. Now the FAFSA can be accessed by using your social security number, your date of birth, your name, or the FSA ID. But if you want to use the IRS data retrieval tool as part of the FAFSA application process, and that retrieval tool connects your family's income tax information with the FAFSA application, if you want to use that retrieval tool, an FSA ID needs to be put in place by the applicant, the student who is going to go to college, as well as the parents. And parents, only one parent needs to make an FSA ID, and you only need that one FSA ID for any child that you may have in your family who is planning to attend college. Ready for the next slide, Jason? And when completing that FAFSA, details are vital. And so make sure that you set aside plenty of time to quiet time to focus on the instructions when completing the FAFSA or the WASFA. And step number 1, make sure that you're completing the FAFSA for the year that you're going to be attending college. So that's 2021, 2022. Because when you go to studentaid.gov, then you will see that there's a couple of years to choose from. So make sure that you select 2021, 2022. And the FAFSA can be confusing. So make sure that you double check the information that you enter in that electronic form. Make sure that your name matches with the legal name on your Social Security card or your alien registration card. And this is particularly important if you're going to try to use that data retrieval tool. The name that is used for that FSA ID must absolutely match the names that are on the Social Security cards. And income tax information, all of that needs to match for that data retrieval tool to work effectively. And also, please remember that you can go back and make corrections. You can go back to your application and make sure that you completed everything correctly. Other things to double check includes parents' marital status, your household size, making sure that the correct number of people who live in the house are listed, as well as the number who will be attending college in school year 2021, 2022. Make sure that all family members who are going to go to college next year, 2021, 2022, are being counted. Ready for the next slide, Jason? And then what? Once you receive the confirmation that you completed the FAFSA or the WASFA application, make sure that parent signatures have been completed, and there's the digital opportunity to take care of that. And there are also paper. There's a hard copy signature that can be mailed later. And so you can work with your high school counselors when it comes to that. If you change your mind about the college that you're interested in, that's okay. You can go back and you can update that application. There's lots of places where you can go to make sure that if you have any questions about financial aid, you can go. And so wasac.w.gov is one of those places. And then make sure that you're applying for scholarships. And so the washboard.org is there. And for your information, all colleges generally have a general scholarship application. WSU is one of those colleges. And I encourage each and every one of you to apply for a scholarship. I know that when I was in high school, I was thinking, oh, no way, I'm just a normal college student. I'm not doing anything special, but you will be surprised. Go ahead, apply for those scholarships, because boy, that's money that you don't have to pay back, and it's the best way to start college. And then when you are admitted in a college, you will be assigned a college email address. That is how you're going to get notifications from the financial aid office at that college. You need to get in the habit of checking those emails to make sure that if there's any verification that needs to happen, if the financial aid office needs to make sure that information is correct with your FAFSA or your WASFA application, that you're taking care of that, because deadlines apply with that so that you get priority funding. And then for your information, once a financial aid package is assigned, that is generally released about or dispersed to you about a week before the semester starts or the quarter starts, each semester or each quarter of the school year. Ready for the next slide, Jason? And for your information, there was a simple fact sheet that was created for the high school counselors to share with you. And it provides a general checklist as to how to prepare for a FAFSA application or to complete the WASFA application. So if you want this simple fact sheet, please ask your high school counselor and they can provide that to you. Ready for the next slide, Jason. Okay, well, thanks so much for attending today. We're here to answer any questions. We're here to help you with your FAFSA, your WASFA applications. So we're on to the next step of this next couple of hours.
Thank you so much, Gretchen. Yeah, and so I guess we can kind of, you know, if you have questions, I encourage you to put those questions in the chat, and we can make sure that somebody answers those questions.
I see that there's a question to everybody asking if students are required to fill out the FAFSA. Can I just address that? Can I go for it? Okay. So you are not required to fill out the FAFSA, but in order to get financial aid, whether it's going to be from the institution, for Washington State, we have state funding, or from the federal government, you do need to fill out that application. So again, you're going to choose between, or you're going to see which one you qualify for, the FAFSA or the WASFA. But in order to get any of that financial aid, it is required to do that. It's not required for most scholarships, but we just recommend completing it because if not, then it's kind of up to you to find another way to fund your education. So a lot of times you are going to be eligible for some free funding, or some of that funding that's going to be borrowed and no interest right now, and you can pay it back later. But so it's not required, but highly, highly recommended.
Great. Thank you, Maya, for answering that.
While we're waiting, Jason, can I just make some more plugs and
absolutely
more helpful information? So in Gretchen's presentation, she did highlight the washboard.org, which is an outside scholarship search engine. And that's just one of many that we do recommend for students. And we wouldn't say just sign up with one or just complete one application, right? We want to encourage students to apply for as many scholarships as possible to better their odds of receiving a scholarship. But then the cool thing about scholarships is that it's free money, right? So it's going to reduce the amount of money that you have to borrow or that your parents might have to borrow and then pay back. With those outside scholarship searches, how they work is that you create an account or like a profile. It's similar to like a resume, right? Where you're highlighting yourself and talking about your interests in school and career interests and that kind of thing. And so then the website, so whether it be the washboard.org, you might want to write that down, fastweb.com, that's another one of our favorites, unigo.com. These programs or these companies are going to then, based on your profile, are going to match up scholarships to you. So they'll email you and say, hey, Maya, here's a new scholarship that you might be eligible for based on your interest in horticulture and business and fine arts or something, right? So those are a great way to find some more free money for school. But then our office, so Student Financial Services, we do have a scholarship search engine too. So our scholarship team has been contacted by these donors, and we have done the research to make sure that these are all legitimate resources, all legitimate scholarship opportunities. You go to our website and you can make, you can filter the searches or the search itself to kind of have it tailored to you, right? So I'm a high school senior, this is my GPA, maybe I don't want to have an essay component, that kind of thing. So then it's going to pull up the results that apply to that, and then you can click on the different scholarships that are listed there, and you can apply right from our website. So we have hundreds and hundreds of them. They keep coming in, so we review them as fast as possible to get them out there. But again, another really cool way to increase your chances of getting free money, helping mom and dad out, helping yourself out, reduce that loans and that loan debt. But I actually will put the link in the chat. Hey, that would be helpful, huh? If you do that general scholarship application, whether it's going to be for WSU or for another school, what we'd recommend is that you save those, like if you have to do an essay, for ours, we have 6 short, very short, 110 words essays, but you can save that, and that can be like your foundation for other scholarships. And so you saving that and then just kind of tailoring it and editing it based on the other writing prompts allows you to apply for a lot more scholarships. Let me pull that up here. And one thing about our search is that it includes both WSU-based scholarships and general. So let's say you're applying to maybe PLU maybe San Diego State, Montana State, WSU, UW, right? If you look at some of these scholarships that we have posted, if you see the little cougar logo, that means they're WSU specific. If you don't see that, and let's say you get one, unigo.com has some really cool scholarship opportunities, like ones like Make Me Laugh. And the writing prompt is to write a story that makes the judges laugh, right? Like it's some of the past winners and stuff have been really cool, but they have some really unique scholarships there. But if you get that scholarship, it goes with you no matter where you go. So if it doesn't on our site, if it doesn't have that cougar logo, that means it's applicable to whatever school you do attend to. It's based on you as the student. So I'm going to put that link to our scholarship search in the chat. So in your free time over Christmas break, right, you can get some of those scholarship applications hammered out. So I just wanted to put the plug in there to highlight more scholarships, as that's usually a big question that we get with our team.